are the 7 Lemurian Soul Codes, sacred geometry and ancient wisdom. For opening hook, have you ever gazed at a geometric pattern, the flower of life, a Fibonacci spiral, and felt something ancient stir within you? A strange recognition, as if your soul remembered something your mind couldn't quite grasp. What if I told you these shapes aren't merely mathematical designs, but encrypted messages? Codes left behind by one of Earth's most spiritually advanced civilizations? Lemuria, long dismissed as myth, a fabled lost continent spoken of in whispers and dreams. What if the truth runs deeper than landmasses lost beneath the ocean? What if Lemuria left behind a spiritual legacy, encoded not in language, but in sacred geometry, a visual language of the soul? In this exploration, you'll discover 7 Lemurian soul codes, each hidden within specific geometric forms. These aren't abstract symbols. They are vibrational blueprints carrying profound truths about your soul's journey, your connection to Source, and the forgotten wisdom that once guided an entire civilization. This isn't just a story of a lost world. It's a key to remembering who you truly are. And by the end, you may begin to feel that familiar whisper. You've been here before. The symbols are calling. Are you ready to remember? Through the Lemurian understanding of sacred geometry, to understand the Lemurian soul codes, we must first grasp how geometry was far more than science to ancient civilizations. It was spiritual truth made visible. The Lemurians didn't see shapes as lifeless forms. To them, geometry was alive, carrying frequencies, intentions, and deep cosmic meaning. Every form was a vessel of consciousness. Unlike modern minds trained to separate the physical from the spiritual, Lemurians lived in unified awareness. They believed that what was seen reflected the unseen, and geometry was their bridge between the material and metaphysical realms. While we use language to communicate ideas, Lemurians used geometric resonance to transfer wisdom, healing, and emotional intention. Shapes weren't mere art, they were keys to multidimensional knowledge. The flower of life wasn't decorative. It was the blueprint of existence, a vibrational pattern that could awaken memory within the soul. Spirals, tetrahedrons, and hexagons weren't aesthetic choices. They were spiritual technologies, encoded maps guiding souls through cycles of incarnation, evolution, and return to Source. Lemurian temples, built on power nodes of Earth's energy grid, used precise geometric proportions not just for beauty or engineering, but to align physical space with celestial harmony. They believed that stepping into perfect geometric resonance allowed your energy field to remember its original state. Healing began, memory returned. This isn't mere speculation. Across the globe, from Hawaii to Mount Shasta, from the South Pacific to the Andes, we find myths of ancient peoples who spoke through symbols, healed with sound, and crafted structures with mysterious mathematical perfection. These recurring clues hint at a lost world that may not be as fictional as mainstream history claims. Modern quantum physics now suggests the universe may be composed not of particles, but of patterns of vibration, echoing exactly what the Lemurians lived by. Sacred geometry is the fingerprint of these patterns. It's not superstition, it's structure. It's consciousness expressed as form. So if Lemuria encoded its spiritual essence into shapes, what messages did they leave behind? What codes might still pulse through Earth's grid, waiting for awakened souls to see not with their eyes but with their hearts? If the 7 Lemurian soul codes are Code 1, the Spiral of Return, the first Lemurian soul code lives within one of nature's most ubiquitous and mysterious patterns, the spiral, specifically the golden spiral following the Fibonacci sequence. You've seen this spiral everywhere, in the unfurling of a fern, the swirl of a nautilus shell, the structure of galaxies. But to the Lemurians, this wasn't random. It was a message encoded directly into creation's fabric. They believed the spiral was the symbol of return, a map of the soul's journey across lifetimes. The soul doesn't travel in straight lines. It spirals, ever returning but never to the same place. Each cycle brings you closer to Source, yet deeper into experience. This paradox of moving forward by returning is the spiral code's essence. Lemurians visualized reincarnation not as punishment or karma, but as concentric spirals of remembrance. Each life isn't repetition but evolutionary echo. The spiral was used in sacred temples, healing rituals, and soul ceremonies to help individuals reconnect with where they'd been and what they were becoming. This is why many people feel that strange longing, sensation of déjà vu with no clear origin. That's the spiral speaking. It whispers, "You've been here before, but now you're ready to see it differently." Pause here and reflect. Think about how your own life unfolds. Are there patterns you keep revisiting? Relationships, fears, places, callings? You might think you're going in circles, but zoom out and you'll see you're spiraling upward. This isn't coincidence. It's sacred architecture. The spiral doesn't imprison you, it invites you. It tells you that no matter how lost you feel, you're returning to something ancient and essential. Each return is a deeper initiation. In Lemurian practice, walking spiral paths, physically or mentally, was soul alignment. They built spiral labyrinths for walking meditation, each step syncing body with cosmic rhythm. Moving inward, they didn't get lost, they got found. The deeper truth, the spiral isn't just outside you, it's within. Your DNA forms spirals, double helixes resonating with the same pattern found in galaxies. From microcosm to macrocosm, the spiral confirms what Lemurians knew. As above, so below. As outside, so within. When you recognize the spiral as your soul's blueprint, you see experiences differently. Pain isn't failure, it's a spiral turn. Grief isn't the end, it's an inward fold. Joy is the release outward, expanding you into light. The spiral code teaches, you are never lost. You are always returning to source, to your essence, to Lemuria. Rainbow's Code 2, the crystal grid. If the spiral maps the soul's journey, the second Lemurian soul code reveals the soul's connection to others, to Earth, to the divine web of consciousness. This code lives within hexagonal geometry, most commonly seen in crystal lattices and honeycombs. To Lemurians, this pattern wasn't merely beautiful, it was the foundation of energetic unity. Consider this: crystals grow in hexagonal grids, forming symmetrical, resonant structures. These formations aren't random. Lemurians believed crystals were conscious vessels of memory, holding light frequencies and vibrational messages. The hexagon symbolized collective coherence, the sacred bond between all beings. They used crystals not just as tools, but as living amplifiers for telepathic connection, healing, and planetary tuning. Through crystalline structures, Lemurians communicated intuitively, heart-centered, without words, through vibrational resonance. Geometry was the carrier wave. Intention was the message. This is the crystal grid code. You are not alone. You are woven into the living web of unity. In modern times, many spiritually sensitive people feel pulled to crystals, grids, and light codes without knowing why. That pull may be soul memory, a faint echo of Lemurian life when this crystal grid was consciously activated across Earth. Lemurians believed each human soul was like a crystal node in a larger network. Just as crystals connect into vast energetic lattices, each awakened soul contributes to the stability and harmony of the whole. You're not an isolated spark, you're part of a living structure. Consciousness crystallized. Even bees mirror this geometry. The honeycomb's perfect hexagons are nature's most efficient structure. Maximum strength with minimal material. Lemurians saw this as sacred design. From crystals to bees, from snowflakes to sound waves, the message is clear. The universe favors unity through pattern. Many modern mystics speak of a crystalline consciousness grid encircling Earth, a subtle energy matrix made of sacred geometry and soul intention. Some believe this is the reactivated Lemurian grid, now awakening through those who remember, through you. Working with this code, honor your energetic connections. Notice sudden insights, emotional downloads, synchronicities. These may be signals traveling through the grid. Use crystals for intention setting and energetic anchoring. Imagine your heart as a crystal node in a vast, glowing web and watch how your frequency shifts. When Lemurians meditated, they didn't seek escape. They sought resonance. They tuned themselves to the greater grid, and when they did, they remembered who they truly were, not separate but whole. The crystal grid code invites us back into this remembrance, into communion, into collective awakening. We're not here to walk alone. We're here to light up the grid together. Watch Code 3, the Seed of Life. The third Lemurian Soul Code resides in the Seed of Life. 7. Interlocking circles forming a delicate, symmetrical flower. To Lemurians, this wasn't just a symbol of creation. It was the womb of the cosmos and, more importantly, the mirror of the soul's own creative power. The seed of life was sacred because it represented creation's first impulse, not in a mechanical sense, but in a deeply spiritual feminine sense. Lemurians viewed creation as conscious intention made manifest, not forced, not engineered, but birthed. They believed the universe was born from great feminine consciousness, not unlike a womb. The seed of life was the geometry of that divine womb, and each soul carried this seed within them. It wasn't just a symbol of life, it was a reminder. You are a creator. You were born from intention, and you carry that power still. In Lemurian temples, this geometry was used in sacred birthing rituals, not just for physical birth, but for soul initiations, visioning, and deep energetic rebirth. The seed of life activated the divine feminine within all beings, not gendered femininity, but the universal creative force. Lemurians didn't separate the spiritual from the biological. They believed the human womb in women and the energetic, sacral center in all was the literal doorway through which soul codes could be activated. When aligned with sacred geometry and intention, this center could birth reality, ideas, beings, timelines, even healing. The seed of life is not passive. It's the encoded map for spiritual conception of new paths, new selves, and higher consciousness. Why 7 circles? In many traditions, 7 represents initiation, the journey from earthly to divine. It mirrors the 7 chakras, soul evolution stages, musical tones, and visible celestial bodies in ancient astrology. Each circle is a step in awakening, and where they overlap, something new is born. When you meditate on this symbol or simply gaze at it, you may feel deep resonance in your lower belly, chest, or crown. That's not imagination, that's activation. The Seed of Life Soul Code tells us, creation begins in consciousness's sacred womb. What you conceive in spirit, you will birth in form. But this code comes with responsibility. You're always conceiving through thoughts, emotions, visions, fears, and dreams. You're always seeding reality. Lemurians understood that to heal the world, we must first purify the womb within, aligning intention with soul truth. When you align with the seed, you remember, you're not a passive observer. You're the womb of the world, and what you carry, you birth. You were never just created, you were always a creator. Signed Code 4, the Star Tetrahedron, Merkaba. The 4th Lemurian Soul Code is encoded within the Star Tetrahedron, also known as the Merkaba, 2 interlocking tetrahedrons, one pointing upward, the other downward. This geometry is a gateway, a bridge between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, light and form. In Lemurian consciousness, the Merkaba wasn't abstract theory. It was a living light vehicle, a structure within each soul's energy body that, when activated, could allow interdimensional travel, healing, and spiritual ascension. The word Merkaba later surfaced in Hebrew mysticism, meaning chariot of light. But Lemurians already knew this was no metaphor. This was the soul's technology. The upward tetrahedron represented masculine energy, movement, projection, ascension. The downward one symbolized feminine energy, reception, grounding, embodiment. Together they formed balanced dynamics. The soul, riding the wave of these polarities, could move between worlds, lifetimes and dimensions. Lemurian initiates learned breathing patterns that would spin their Merkaba field, aligning it with universal rhythms. These weren't fantasy practices, they were grounded in precise, geometric and energetic principles. When the Merkaba field activated, they could experience unity consciousness, astral travel, and access ancient memories unbound by time. Yet this code isn't about leaving the body or escaping Earth. Quite the opposite. The Star Tetrahedron teaches, you are a light vehicle between worlds. You were born to bridge spirit and form. That means your body isn't a trap, it's a vessel. Your mind isn't the source, it's the translator. Your soul is the Merkaba's driver, the navigator of light. In modern spiritual circles, Merkaba activation is often pursued through meditation, visualization, and breathwork. But few recognize its origin lies not just in ancient Egypt or Kabbalah, but far earlier in lost Lemurian wisdom. Lemurians weren't trying to escape human experience. They were trying to elevate it, to infuse matter with light so the body itself could become an ascension temple. This makes the Star Tetrahedron more relevant than ever. In times of global change, uncertainty, and spiritual fragmentation, we're called not just to raise our frequency, but to remember how to navigate the soul's inner technology. Your Merkaba isn't outside you, it's part of your energetic anatomy. You don't need permission to activate it, only remembrance. Begin by breathing with intention. Visualize the two tetrahedrons spinning in opposite directions. Focus on balance between seen and unseen, grounded and cosmic. In that stillness, something ancient awakens. The Lemurian Soul Code reminds us that you were never trapped in flesh. You were always a traveler in light. The Merkaba isn't just geometry, it's your vehicle, your path home. Code 5, the Square of Grounding. As we enter the final phase of Lemurian Soul Codes, we encounter a sacred trinity, 3 geometries that complete the blueprint of remembrance. The 5th code lives within the square, the foundation. Lemurians revered the square not as limitation, but as structure, the necessary stability to hold sacred energy. While many spiritual traditions romanticize transcendence, Lemuria taught that without grounding, light collapses. This soul code whispers, anchor your divine self in the earth. In Lemurian temples, squares were used in floor plans and energetic grids to stabilize vibrational frequencies. The message is clear: you're not here to escape the world, but to root your higher consciousness into matter, to bring heaven into earth, not hover above it. The square teaches responsibility. Build strong inner foundations. Live with integrity. Treat earth as sacred ground. That's not the journey's end, it's the starting point. Code 6, the Circle of Timelessness. The 6th code dwells within the circle, the eternal. No beginning, no end. Lemurians saw the circle as time's true shape. Linear time was a teaching tool, a temporary illusion. But the soul lives in cycles, not lines. The circle code dissolves fear of death, endings, and irrelevance. Its core message: time is a sacred illusion. You are eternal. In Lemurian rites, circular mandalas were drawn not for aesthetics, but to align with the eternal now, to step into a space where all lifetimes touch, where past and future are echoes of a single eternal presence. When you see yourself as cyclical, not linear, life softens. You understand healing is never final and wisdom isn't forward, it's inward. The circle brings peace, wholeness, unity. Code 7, the invisible geometry, Metatron's cube. The final code is the most mysterious. Metatron's cube, composed of all 5 platonic solids. This shape contains within it every other sacred geometry: circle, triangle, square, and more, unified into one multidimensional form. To Lemurians, this was the geometry of source. This code is a portal. It says all is one, even what you cannot see. This shape was used in Lemurian healing chambers, dream temples, and energy transmitters. It reminds us that beyond the visible, beyond even light, there's an organizing intelligence, a hidden structure beneath chaos. Even your challenges have geometry. When you meditate on Metatron's cube, You invite this intelligence into your body, thoughts, and creations. You realign not by force but by sacred coherence. These final 3 codes complete the Lemurian design. The square roots you. The circle frees you. The invisible geometry connects you to the infinite mystery behind all things. Together they ask you not just to believe, but to remember you are the temple. You are the code. You are the key. Conclusion. The awakening. We have journeyed through the 7 Lemurian soul codes, each hidden in sacred geometry, each a key to awakening parts of your ancient self. From the spiral of return, reminding you of your eternal journey, to the invisible geometry, connecting you to the oneness behind all things. These codes are more than symbols. They are vibrational blueprints encoded within your very being. Now the question isn't simply what you've learned, but what has awakened inside you. Which code called to your soul most deeply? Was it the grounding power of the square, the creative spark of the seed of life, or the cosmic vehicle of the Star Tetrahedron? Remember, this knowledge isn't to be admired from afar. It's a living map, a guide to remembering your origins, your purpose, and your connection to the Lemurian light that still pulses beneath this world's surface. The sacred geometries await your recognition. They are whispers of Lemuria reaching through time, inviting you to step fully into your light, your power, and your ancient lineage. The Lemurian legacy is awakening, and you are part of that awakening. Thank you for this journey. Remember, you've been here before, and you will return stronger, wiser, awakened.